Alright, hello and good luck to Ice Bear for UK. Do you want to play first? Sure. Well, we got to keep. We're going to need one of those planes later on, but we got a 2 and a 3 to stay alive, and then a win condition. That's kind of okay. Cool beans. Ooh, a fellow black Girafter. That's pretty okay. That means ideally going late, which is what our deck wants to do. And here we see why I'm only playing 2 Scholars in the first place. I wanted to avoid this situation as often as possible. It's fine that it happened. I mean, that's luck, but I really don't want to be playing 20 bazillion Scholar of Athreoses. And by 20 bazillion, I mean all 4, because I don't need that many. Death Bellow Raider. Come on in, buddy boy. I'm going to play a Fellhide Minotaur next turn. Or am I? I'm going to play Read the Bones, actually. I don't care about the first 2 points of damage. We're A-okay with that. They're both going on top. Sweet. And we'll pass the turn. This might be the full-on Minotaur deck, so at some point this will have to be dealt with, but I'm pretty sure Death Bellow Raider doesn't matter too much. Obviously with Regen Mana open, not going to block, but I also don't care too much about 2 points of damage right now. We have lots of ways to gain life later on. Ooh, Agent of Fates. That's going to be kind of tricky. Definitely want to try to kill that. In that case, I'm not going to play my Emissary out, even though that might seem like a good idea. I think it's time to play a Scholar out. Is that right? No. I'm going to... I'm trying to decide how quickly... If my opponent has 2 ways to target the Agent of Fates, like, I just get blown out. And I think I need this Emissary to be a little bit more exciting. I just don't like not using all my mana, which is quite frustrating. I like playing the Minotaur out in order to block a Minotaur without having to worry about taking much more damage. I guess the Scholar kind of does the same thing. So yeah, we'll start there. Again, the reason not to play the Minotaur, even though that'll leave it into Devotion for Grey Merchant, is that I really don't want to have to sacrifice a black creature if I don't have to. So let's see what our opponent does here. Attack with Death Bellow Raider, that's fine. We'll just block for days there and see what our opponent has next. Nothing. Probably then we're going to be looking at removal spells that are targeting the Agent of the Fates. I think I'm just going to play Grey Merchant out. He's not going to like be a back-breaking win at any point. So just use all my mana I'm cool with, and we have a nice good blocker out. And then hopefully we'll draw another land to like maybe bestow the Emissary or something like that later on. And I'm definitely interested in bestowing both the emissaries in order to eat up sacrifice pieces. Because at some point I do need to kill that guy. Alright, and our opponent doesn't do anything in response. We're still good on D. Opponent did nothing for a turn. That's interesting. I assume there's going to be a target spell on Agent. We'll just go ahead and double block here. What is my opponent doing? I am oh so curious. Twitted Cerberus? No. Maybe my opponent just had a really aggressive deck and now isn't doing anything? Well, we can attack him with Grey Merchant of Asphodel and then follow up with like a Blood Toll Harpy and start getting in the air. I'm not too sure I love that if Agents is being like held onto. Because I might just want to keep things here for, what's it called? For discarding to the Emissary. But I think in the air, my opponent hasn't shown anything. I'm happy to try to put some kind of pressure on the board. One more mana will be really great in the near future. I guess now I have enough buffer around Heroic that I should be playing my Emissary. Yeah, I think that would have been correct. Scourge Mark, yes. We sacrifice something. What do I want to sacrifice? Grey Merchant holds a lot of things back and can get in. Bloodtail Harpy is a flyer and can get in. This guy kills everything. And I kind of like my Scholar of Athreos. I like all my creatures. Silly me. I think, though, the Scholar is doing the least amount right now, so we'll go ahead and sacrifice the Scholar. Bummed my opponent gets to draw a card, though. That's annoying. Another Raider? Sure. Alrighty. So I guess we'll play another Fellhide Minotaur to continue our defensives. Attack in with the Bloodtail Harpy. I don't want to play the Emissary now that I got rid of this. This is a defense and in order to prevent against sacrificing. If I attack in with Grey Merchant, it just gets double blocked, and that's kind of boring. This is a very unconventional way to be playing mana. I might be being a little too conservative playing around Agent of the Fates. It might have been better just to play a normal use of mana and play out my creatures. I'm not too sure. The more I see my opponent's deck, the more I think that's true. There may not be that many targeting effects. And yeah, I think I might have been a little too scared of the power of Agent of Fates based on what I'm seeing from my opponent's deck. It looks like it's much more of an aggressive deck. But then, shouldn't there be a lot of, Scourge Marks, Dragon Mantles, and Titan Strengths? Titan Strengths were everywhere. I even picked one up, right, and considered hating one. I don't know. This is peculiar to me. Okay, here comes a big old buddy boy. So that happens. I have to sacrifice a creature. This becomes a 4, 5, 6, 4 first striker. 4, 5, 6. I kind of just want to sacrifice the Bloodtail Harpy so I can block the Agent of Fates. That just means my opponent isn't attacking. So if that's the case, I think we just ditch the Baleful Eidolon. We'll take our 6, but then we have attacks back, don't we? Because the Deathbellow Raider has to come through. My opponent currently can't. Yeah, we're going to ditch that, double block the Deathbellow Raider, take 6, but then we have a great crackback, and our opponent's going to be in some serious trouble. Hey, so that'll be cool. We're just going to leave that guy up. Attack in with both our dudes. Or, sorry, all of our dudes, I should say. Start winning a race here. Well, we finally got to one of our removal spells, which is kind of what we needed. Let's see if something crazy happens. A Rage of Perforos. That is actually okay. My opponent... Oh, is playing around Divine Verdict. I'm okay with that too. Especially now that we got this guy on. Okay, so if I put an Emissary on, say, a Grey Merchant, I can attack in. And if there's a targeting effect, last card in hand, there's not a whole lot I care about. I could take 6 on the crackback, but I'm at pretty much a good enough life. And my opponent has to block this. Cool beans. Not entirely sure what my opponent can have here to kill me. Targeting effect on agent means the Minotaur is gone and there's no defense. And there could be a pump as well, but I don't think there's enough that anything that does an extra 6-pointed damage. And if my opponent does that and spends mana and resources, then I have a pretty clear crackback kill with the Great Merchant. If my opponent wants to attack, I'm actually fine blocking here. Am I fine blocking here? Yeah, because I don't want to get too much lower. There could be a creature that comes down this turn. Which is, I assume, what my opponent has to protect against this, but if we draw a land, we just put an emissary and attack in for the win. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I had taken the damage. I assume that's the last card in hand is a land because it's been hanging out there for a while. Oh, this is pretty good. Not amazing, but pretty good. We're still going to take out the two-headed Cerberus, and we can always use the Divine Verdict as backup. And then I'll go ahead and play the Scholar out. Oh no, I can't play the Scholar and the Ray, unfortunately. So I will go ahead and play the Fellhead Minotaur. Try to make a trade here happen. What else? Ooh, a Rage of Perforos. Okay. So I have to sacrifice my Minotaur? So sad. I assume my opponent's not attacking. We'll go in and take out the emissary so I can bash through with the Grey Merchant. Oh, and a Belphylon. How about that? This guy has Death Touch and First Strike, which is not fun. But I do have Divine Verdict available, and all there is a mountain here, so we're just going to go for it. We don't have Trample, so it's still not quite a win, but we're in good shape. I think our opponent knew we had that. We showcased it that one turn, and it was played around very effectively. And I'll go ahead and play the Eidolon, since I do have plenty of discards, and I just want to keep defense available and use up all my mana. What's coming down here? This is huge. Ah, an Underworld Cerberus. Okay, I need to finish this game out pretty quickly. Why is my opponent tapped out right now? There's only 5 mana. What else happened? Not too sure. That's cool. Great, so we go ahead and play the Emissary on top of our Grey Merchant. Oread's not going to be able to block. I'm attacking both my dudes. a lot of creatures get thrown back into hand. Ah, opponent went for it. Okay. That's actually an interesting spot about, do I even want Underworld Cerberus to die because I'm ahead in this life? Maybe it's, yeah, I think I have to because we just get a bunch of damage through, right? Yeah. But still, interesting because all the creatures would have come back. We all had a lot of creatures, so I don't know who would have actually benefited, but my opponent would be on the play next and would have a number of different dudes coming around town. So I'd say my opponent has much more of an aggressive deck than what we saw play out this game. I care mostly about the rares that we saw. Nothing else was particularly exciting. So I'm trying to think, do I have things that I want to do to deal with the rares that we saw? But not really. We still have a really nice early defensive game. Things that work very well in protecting us against the early stuff. And then really nice ways to close out the game. I'm looking to see how to deal with Underworld Cerberus. I really don't have a great way. I'm going to keep the deck exactly the way it is. And I do think I liked the mana split. Even though we had to wait a little while for our planes, I think it was A-okay. And we just got to stay alive. Stay alive. Which is what I'm always saying in Theros these days, because I'm always playing black, and I'm always just looking to go late. I assume you want to play first, Ice Bear 4 UK. And we got a nice hand. A 2, 3, 4, 6 drop. No mulligan, thank you. Hey, another Eidolon. How about that? What 2-drop do you have for me? A Death Bellorator? Nothing. That's fascinating. Feel free to Lightning Strike my Eidolon. I've got another. Without any pressure coming at me, I'm more than happy to do a Read the Bones here, which is exactly what's going to happen. Scholar we'll put on top. The Swamp we're pretty good on. And a Sip is nice. I'm getting a point of damage as well. There could be the 4-2 Haster next turn. I'm not too worried about my life total, to be honest. And I wouldn't want to trade my Eidolon off for the 4-2 Haster. That's the Minotaur. That's the 2-2 gets +2/+0 or whatever when it enters the battlefield, that kind of thing. And my opponent didn't even have it. Wow, what's my opponent doing? I guess has a Cerberus in hand, so we're hanging onto our Sip of Hemlock, that's for sure. Normally I'd play this Disciple. Just to max out mana, but I think we can do better things. We'll go ahead and play the Emissary now to maximize our mana. This might eat a removal spell. Not too sure. But I can discard my Scholar or my Baleful Eidolon to prevent the Lightning Strike from taking it out. So that's cool. Cerberus, I assume. Yep, there we go. So our opponent probably just kept like a non-fast hand because the Mythic was there, but we'll have the Sip of Hemlock to allow us to get there. And now, I mean, I could go ahead and bestow the Eidolon on the Emissary. I'm taking 6 points of damage, that's fine, but in a turn we're going to have Sip of Hemlock. As long as I have 4 cards in hand, the Sip won't get discarded to a Disciple of Phoenix. But I kind of think I just want to start doing the Disciple of Phoenix thing. And with our Death Toucher out, it kind of suggests that our opponent may not even attack, and that's actually best for us. And we still get to see all except for the best card in hand. Right, mountain plus what else? A lash? Oh, the lash is obviously getting pulled. I could care less about the the Lampid or the Raider. Say goodbye to you. I also don't want you getting value from your Underworld Cerberus, because these guys go to my hand when they die. Underworld Cerberus just gets exiled, so cool beans. If Cerberus attacks, I will block with everything. Mountain came down. Aw. I guess I won't be blocking with everything. Though I'm fine with that being a rage. Don't have God's Willing available. This is actually an ideal spot for me right now, taking the 6 points of damage, because I'm going to do the Sip of Hemlock this turn. We get a Bastion for 4, and we get our Eidolon back. And our opponent has no cards in graveyard, or no creatures in graveyard to get back. So we just get full value, and our opponent gets nada. I don't want to discard anything to my Emissary, so we'll just Bastion for 4. And be well on our way to having a great board state. Go Raider. I'm actually more of a 49er fan. I could care about sports, let's just be honest. But my father's a 49ers fan. So go Niners? What else you doing, buddy boy? Well, that's not a bad card to draw, now is it? I think we'll just do the Scholar and a Disciple of Phoenix. This is just a double check to see what else is in hand. I assume it's a land, but can't be too careful, can we now? Yeah, let's get rid of the Portent of Betrayal. There's no need for that. And we'll bash in with both. Get our 1 point of damage in. I didn't go for the block. Cool beans. I would have blocked. Just regen, right? So we snuck in 3 points of damage. That's kind of nice. Opponent is bestowing. That's so things don't die. I'm okay with taking 4. Since we're going to gain some of that back. Boon of Erebus is the only thing that's available, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'll just win here? Unless I'm missing something. There we are, GG's, going on to round 2. Yay, black-white. Super fun.